Alright, this is my tutorial for the walk guitar tone that I just did. This is how it sounds. Alright, sounds pretty good in my opinion. So today we're going to be going over the chain. As you can see, there is a lot that I did to achieve this guitar tone. Maybe too much, but it works for me. So first we have a white 2A compressor. Settings here. It's on compress. Another compressor, Fender compressor, low compression. Dime 6 band EQ. 100 is at 1.43 decibels. 200 is at 3.93 decibels. 400 is at 5 decibels. 500 is at 4.29 decibels. 1.6K is at 3.21 decibels, and 3.2K is at negative 1.79 decibels. So that's the first three pedals there. Now going on to the first amp, we have the first noise gate, which is just a normal noise gate. Threshold at negative 28.8 decibels, depth at negative 60, release at 200. Now we have a dime noise gate at 390.8 hertz and threshold just right down the middle. And then another noise gate, 86.8 decibels, 200 milliseconds for release, 60 decibels for depth. Now I have a fuzz pedal here just to get that extra little fuzz. 2.45 volume and depth is 3.94. Now onto the first amp settings. We have 1.3 reverb, 5 presence, 5.8 bass, 3.1 mids, 5.7 treble, 5.6 master, and the treble is pulled. Gain is at 7. Alright. Oh, yep. And for the cab, I'm using the Walk IR from Matthias Borda, which I use his IRs for pretty much everything. So I'll link that in the description, and you can take a look at my settings for it here. Alright, down to the second amp now. We have negative 26.8 threshold, 200 millisecond release, 60 depth, or negative 60 dB depth. Again, dime noise gate, 390.8 hertz, threshold right down the middle, 86.8 decibel threshold, 200 millisecond release, negative 60 depth. And now we have a treble booster, which sounds kind of weird for this, but it works. 0.9 on the level, 90s, I think, yeah, so 90s there, and obviously it's on. Now the second amp settings, 0.5 reverb, 6.8 presence, bass is at 7, middle is at 1.4, treble is at 5.7, and it is pulled. 7 master and 9 gain, again with the same IR, different settings though, so I think these are just default settings for cabinets or IRs. Now a second EQ is going on, where at 100 it's at 1.43 decibels, 200's at 2.14 decibels, 400's at negative 6.74 decibels, 800 or something, I don't know, it's very small lettering. So negative 6.79 decibels, 1.6K negative 5, and 3.2K is negative 5.71. And finally, one last compressor, white 2A, 37.4, 28.0, and on the compressed setting. Yeah, so that's about it. And I'm using the Daryl 100 amps, and now let me find the solo. Alright, this is the solo, which is isolated completely, and then I'll go over the tone for that. Alright, so going over that tone, it is just adding a room reverb to it. Just everything else is the same. You just add a room reverb to it. Size is 40. Decay is 1522. Pre-delay 0 milliseconds. Color 2. Modulation 2. And what is that? HPF 22. I don't mess around with the settings of it much. And the mix is at 15%. And that's all you need to get to that solo tone. Same IRs, same amp settings, or at least they should be. So, yep, that's about it. I will link the tones in the description if you don't want to go over everything and tweak everything. But if you do want to tweak everything, there's my settings for how I achieve the tone with James Hetfield's EMGs on a Jackson Kelly guitar. So yeah, that's about it, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.